Hey, are you starting to get tired of having to pay for subscriptions to read the news on your iPad? Well, guess what? There are tons of news readers out there where you can read the news for free. I'm going to cover them on this next episode of My Apple Podcast. Hi everyone, Tim Brown. Welcome back to My Apple Podcast. For this episode, I'm going to cover about 5 or 6 news readers that you can use on your iPad to read the news for free. You use the news readers by subscribing to RSS feeds which stream news throughout the day. I'm also going to share with you ways in which you could save those articles. Okay, well, let's begin. The first one I want to cover is Flipboard by Flipboard Incorporated. Flipboard won a number of awards from Apple about a couple years ago. Has a beautiful interface. It's a tile layout that just flips with your finger. And you're going to love the animations, the way the pages transition from one page to the next, basically flipping back and forth. Really nice. There's also a ribbon on the top right that allows you to browse other categories. And you can watch videos or articles or even recently audio files. It's a wonderful interface. Again, you just flip back and forth. I'm just going to show you the interface here just so you can get an idea of how it flows back and forth. You can share articles, you can share to Twitter, and you can use multiple accounts. Right now I have about 5 or 6 accounts set up where I can save to Twitter, Facebook, and so forth. Just a real nice user interface. Another application that's really nice is Flood, made by Rabbit Incorporated. It's been out for now, but it's been out for a while, but I like how it was redesigned recently. When they came out with a new version of Flood, they came out with these floating tiles where you can see all the articles associated with the feed. You can scroll up and down as well as across to view other feeds. When you're ready to read one, you just tap on it and it launches full screen, which is really nice. And then once it launches full screen, then you can just go from one article to the next by just swiping back and forth. And again, you can tweet the articles or share to Facebook. There's some really nice features that are built into Flood. You can also search for other feeds. They're arranged by category, so they make it very easy for you to do. It's very nice. I just love the interface. It's very well designed, a handsome application. I would encourage anyone to use it. Of course, another one is Pulse. Flood actually used to look like Pulse when it first came out after it redesigned the application. Because Pulse kind of set the standard for this tile view, but tiles that are arranged in rows that you scroll back and forth with to browse the different articles. The articles that are underneath, or the rows that are underneath, are the other feeds that you subscribe to. When you're ready to read an article, you just tap on the one you like, and it appears on the right hand side. And then you can just browse the articles back and forth by swiping from left to right. You can save articles to your Me folder. I'll show that in a little bit. You can save to Twitter and Facebook or email articles, which is very nice. It's just a really nice interface. I love how easy it is to flow from one section to the next. Here's the Me folder, and these are all the articles that I've just saved, which is great. So I don't have to save it to Instapaper or Pocket if I don't want to. This feature is built into Pulse. Click on the Settings tab, and you can organize your feeds by moving them up and down, or by clicking on the plus symbol to subscribe to new feeds. As you can see, they have the Flipboard tile menu there, so you can browse through categories. They make it very easy to do. It's a beautiful application, and I would encourage you to download Pulse. Another great application is Early Edition 2. This is an application that was completely redesigned from the first version, which was Early Edition, and arguably is probably the most sophisticated newsreader out on the market today. As you can see, it's set up like a newspaper, but it has these animated features that bring the articles up to the surface, almost in another dimension. You can flip through with your finger, or you can even tap on photos and browse through the images that are embedded inside each article. When you bring up the article, you can also have the option to launch for the web view as well. And there are many different options for sharing articles as well that are built into the menus up top. For example, here I'm sharing on Twitter, and here you're presented with a manila envelope, which is again another real interesting graphic feature. And there are more too. I'm going to show you something else that you're going to really like. Here I'm saving to Twitter. It looks really cool the way the interface works. You can also open up in the Safari browser, read later. You can enlarge the fonts. There's just a lot of features built into this application. You can pull the menu down with your finger, and then there's menus along the top. There's a settings tab. You can view tutorials on how to use the gestures. For example, not only can you swipe and tap, but you can use your finger to go clockwise and counterclockwise to initiate different actions and so forth. On the top left, you can access your feeds as far as arranging your feeds or setting up for new feeds. It's a pretty cool interface. Now I'm going to go ahead and tilt this application vertical because there's some other features that I really want to show you. Okay, so here this is what it looks like vertically. Now if you want to use all the articles that you saved, you take your finger and you swipe it up and it brings up a little cardboard box, if you will. That's a pile of articles that are on readability as well as other clippings that you've saved. And it's just a great way to access your articles. It's beautiful. And Zyta is another newsreader that has become very popular these days, made by Zyta Inc. And let me show you some of the features that are associated with Zyta. It's a little bit more simplified in how it's laid out, but equally functional. So as you can see, when it first comes on, you get this nice animated view where the articles fold into like 3 columns basically. On the right hand side is a sections tab that allows you to browse different sections that you set up. Later I'm going to show you how to do that. You browse the articles by simply sliding from left to right. Again, a different kind of interface than say Flipboard where everything is flipping back and forth. You can also choose keywords that associate with the articles that you're reading, which enables Zyta to populate articles that are like that in the future. So this is great. You also can save to Twitter as well as Facebook. And you can also browse for other articles and other categories as well by, again, clicking on the Sections tab. The question is, how do you actually set up those categories? Well, this is how you do it. There are some pre-selected categories for you. You can select those, or you can just tap into the Browse window and type in the category that you're interested in, and it will populate a list of categories associated with what it is that you're looking for. And that's how you begin to set up your categories. Pulp is another great application. You're going to love Pulp. It's been around for a while as well. They make Pulp actually for the Mac desktop. It looks just like a newspaper. You can set it up as many columns as you want. Here I just have 3 columns. You can scroll up and down. And it has some unique features though that are different than some of the other newsreaders. Number one, well, here's an article that I just pulled up. Okay, it's on the page all by itself. It's full screen. You have the option to share, tweet, post to Facebook, and so forth. You also have the option to save articles. And you click on a little box up top and voila, there's a little bin that appears. That's where your article stays until you decide to delete it. You scroll back up and the article disappears. Really nice interface there. And you notice too, the article grays out when you're finished reading. You can add other columns or delete them. It's just all around a really nice interface. I really like it. And one that you don't hear about very much is SkyGrid. SkyGrid, again, another very simple interface. It uses a tile layout, but not as many animations. As a result, it actually loads a lot quicker. You notice the images come up very fast. And you can organize them by category, by your own specific categories, or by general categories that are more popular. And the articles actually appear exactly as they would on a web page. Again, very simple interface. This is, you can tweet or share to Facebook. Just like the other applications, just a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more flow to how the application just moves. I mean, it's just smooth. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's simplified, but yet beautiful to look at. I think the tile view in general is just very popular. And it just makes for an easier way to navigate, to scroll up and down, to tap and browse through all the different categories. It just makes it a lot more attractive. And SkyGrid just has a very unique way of doing that. Again, you can browse for categories in a very easy manner that's, you don't have to tap in the RSS feeds like you used to. Now, different from the newsreaders where you get all these different stories, there's one like the USA Today where I had to highlight this mainly because the interface is just so amazing. It really does compare with the newsreaders where they get a bunch of news stories from different sources. Mainly because of the interface. You see here how you tap on the icon at the top, you get this menu, you get to browse all these different categories, you can scroll up and down, so you still have the same user interface, but a different kind of design that's unique to USA Today. And I must say, for one single news source, I really like it, and best of all, this application is free. It's hard to believe, but this is free. I mean, New York Times, they're asking for subscriptions. I know the New York Times is popular, but USA Today is doing a great job here. You can share it to Twitter or Facebook, and it just makes it so easy to navigate and browse through all the articles. I highly recommend USA Today. If you haven't purchased this one yet, definitely make this a part of your collection. Now, if you want to save articles, there's Instapaper, of course, but for me, the best way to save is with Pocket. For example, this is Flipboard, and I have the settings set to Pocket. So every article that I want to save to read later goes to Pocket. And I'm going to show you why I chose Pocket. Let me go ahead and pull Pocket up for you. That's what it looks like when it first loads. And mainly I like it because the interface is very similar to the newsreaders actually, but it has a sort of irregular grid format that enables you to browse through all the different articles that you've saved. You can also search through a URL for other articles. There's also some great ways for managing. Here is actually an example of list view. You can go into edit mode. You can rearrange categories of articles as well. Here's an example of how you can just go in and add tags to articles, so it makes it easier to search them later on. And this is a really cool feature. I'm just going to type in a few here. Okay, real easy. You can also select multiple articles at the same time by clicking on the edit icon and then just tapping all the articles you want, and then you can group them into the same category. So Pocket really does a great job. This is what I would recommend to save your articles. Well, that was my episode on newsreaders. You can check me out at myapplepodcast.com, or you can email me at myapplepodcast@gmail.com. My name is Tim Brown. Until next time.